First, you can raise your hand in the Zoom meeting, and then we will choose some of you. We will call your name. After that, you can open your mic and camera and ask the question yourself. Or second, if you cannot open your mic, you can type your question on the chat section, and we will choose some of the question from you. Okay, but let me remind you again that this is an international seminar. Our participant is not only from Indonesia, but also from another country, so you should ask your question in English. It is clear? Okay, let me repeat it again. First, you can raise your hand. We will call your name. After that, or if you cannot open your mic, you can type your question on the chat section. And you should take a note that this is an international seminar, so you should ask and write your question in English. Okay, I think that's clear enough. So we open the Q&A session, so you guys can ask anything to Mr. Q. Okay, guys, I'm waiting for you guys. Let me remind you that this is a good opportunity to you to practice your English and practice your confidence to speak in front of many people. So use this opportunity as best as you can. Is there any question? Okay, maybe while waiting from the answer, I would like to ask question from myself. Okay, Mr. Gio, how in the beginning you can find the marketing work? Like, what kind of milestone, what kind of milestone that you feel like, okay, I'm the marketing guy, I should make the marketing agency and kind of these things. This from me, sir. Can you answer my question? Thank you.
Okay, so before I created Garis Temu, I actually created several businesses. In fact, I created 8 businesses that fails, and so I created those businesses because I need to fund for my education, right? So I asked my parents to not to pay education for me. I will sponsor myself by creating several businesses, and throughout my failures in creating those business, I see one of the weakness of my businesses are I don't understand about marketing, and when I think about it, okay, if there's one guy who feels that marketing is the Achilles heel for his business, who thinks that marketing is an important thing, but he doesn't know about it, there are millions of other businessmen that feels the same like me, right? So when I think about creating a social media agency is because I think about that problem. So I scratch my own itch. I have an itch, I scratch it, and those solution. I believe that those solutions are useful for others too. I can create a business from it, and in the future, when I think about why do I create marketing agencies, because I will create more businesses, and all my businesses can benefit from our experience in Garis Temu. It's a matter of scratching your own itch and then try to learn as much as possible. So what I want you guys to learn is yeah, you can learn everything in this era. I learn everything about I have no educational background with marketing or agency. I learn everything from the internet. So for you guys, I think the sky is the limit, right? All you have is time. You have time to learn everything that you want to learn in the internet. So yeah, maybe your problem, the solution of your problem could be an idea for your business.
Okay, what a great story. So there's no reason for us to not learn something because we are in the technology era where we can search anything through internet. Okay, we can see some of the question on the chat section. I will read the first question. From the Marcelina Thessalonica from Samarinda. Okay. Hi, sorry, I have a bad internet connection. So my question is, as per what you said before, it is important to interact and be social to our target. But how do we gain that? For a small business, it is quite hard to gain the attention and to interact since there's barely any. What your tip for a small business? Okay, you can
Okay.
answer directly to this question, Mr. Gil.
So that's exactly what I just explained in my session. You create value content first, and then you interact with those who appreciate your content, those who likes your content, those who comments on your content. Follow first, wait for others to follow you before you follow them. Just follow everyone that you think is your audience, and then just follow them, and then ask question, reply to their story, reply to and just be social, like be social in the real world, right? And do it in a different platform, in a digital platform. So that's all you gotta think about. Create valuable content, and don't forget to be social and interact. Sometimes people are thinking about, but nobody watch my content, right? Why do they don't care about your content? The answer is simple: because you never care about them. People only care when you care, right? That's what Garis Temu do. We follow all the, not all, but most of the audience that interact with us. We give them about their life. We comment their content, and that's why they give their attention to us. So care for your audience first, then you get the attention. It's like the real world. When you think about friendship, if you wait for others to care about you, and then yeah, that will not happen. But if you start to care about others, people will start to care about you and take more attention to you and stuff. So it's the same thing. Yeah, create quality content, valuable, relatable content, and then don't forget to socialize, interact. Start with, by the way, start with small numbers. Okay, so gather 400 people one meeting is not easy, right? But if I tell you, if I ask you, okay, if you have 471 followers in Instagram, do you think it's bad? People will say it's bad because they if you succeed in social media, you gotta have at least 10,000 followers, right? But if you think about it, 471 is actually a big number. If you invite them all in one room, it's hard to find a room that can fit 400 people, right? So don't underestimate the number. If you have 400 followers in Instagram, DM all of them and talk to them. Ask them, what do they want? What do they want to read? What do they want to see? And then how can you help them? Start to build those type of connection. So never underestimate the numbers of followers. Even if you have just 100 or 200, that's a lot, right? If you take an hour a day to talk to them, you have an hour to spend. So talk to them.
Okay, thank you, sir. So the point is you cannot underestimate the number of your followers, and you should start to care about others, and then others will care about you. Okay, we come to the next question.
Yeah, and to 0 followers, right?
Okay, we come to the next question from the Beatricia Evelyn. Before that, thank you for giving me a chance to ask how to always keep update about strategy of social media. And do we always have to follow the trend or just keep what we planned at the beginning? Thank you.
Okay, so if you are in the battleground, you will always keep update yourself, right? If you are not updated, then someone will kill you. I always see the business world or the social media, the marketing world as war, uh, battleground, like a battleground. All you gotta be as smart as possible. You gotta be more uh, knowledgeable than your competitors, right? So the answer is to be in the battleground. If you are in the battleground, you will forced to be as updated as you need to be, right? So that's how. So you cannot be updated with the world if you only look at from afar, be a spectators, just see oh yeah, what happened, and look at others, what other are posting in their social media. No, you cannot do it if you are only a spectator. You gotta be on the field, on the battleground to do it. And then the second one, do you need to follow trend or just stick to your plan? So there are a wisdom to do it. You don't need to follow every trend, but you need to be aware of all the trend that happen, and then think of which trend do you need to take that suits your plan. So you don't need to follow it, follow everything, but you need to know everything, and then pick the one that suits you, suits your business, suits your marketing plan, and then try to leverage those trends, because trend will give you attention, right? Attention is everything. Attention is where the money is. So yeah, you need to know everything, but you don't need to follow everything.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gil, from the answer. And I think how to keep updating about the marketing world is you can start by following Garistomo at first. Okay, we come to the next question. How to create good and interesting content even though my business is like a business in general.
Yeah. So interesting content is never about the creator. Interesting, the judge of whether or not your content is interesting is your audience. So you need to ask your audience what type of content that they want to see, or they don't know what they want. Create several content, like 3 types of content, and then post and then ask which one do you like. So the ultimate judge of whether or not your content is interesting or not is your audience. It's never your creative director, the content creator, or the boss. It's always the audience. So ask your audience. That's why I encourage you guys to be social and create communities. Ask your followers what they want to see. Yeah. So what's interesting for me might not be as interest to you, right? So yeah, just ask people what they want. Ask people what they want to see, and you might get an idea for your next content. And then your business might be just normal as everyone, but I think the way you communicate could be different, right? Okay. Your unique selling point must not be root only on your product or your business. Your marketing strategy, your marketing plan could be your unique selling point. We have this client of ours, if you guys know Jedai Hercules. Jedai is actually just Jedai, right? Everyone use Jedai, everyone forget about Jedai, but we, Garis Temu, created enough content, enough marketing plan, enough creativity to make that Jedai known by everyone. In fact, the last time Raisa used it, and we approached Raisa, and then we collaborate with Raisa to promote Jedai Hercules. That is one of our biggest project lately. So yeah, I can have Jedai. Jedai is only Jedai, right? But the way you communicate it, you can harness you can gather the attention of everyone, even someone as big as Raisa, if you do it well. So communication, the communication strategy.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gil, for the answer. Okay, we come to next question from the Roeba. What should we do to anticipate about algorithm change in sosmed? What about trick and tips to solve it, especially for growth the online business? Thank you. Maybe it's like a YouTube algorithm or Instagram algorithm where we can find, there must be one content that if we search in random, it's always show up. So how can our content meet the algorithm of the social media? Thank you.
Okay, so I always say to my team that we need to focus on we can control and forget about things that are outside of our control. Algorithm is out of our control, right? Facebook owns it, and they never told us what is the algorithm, right, and how it works. But let me tell you something that the algorithm cannot beat. They cannot stop you from sharing good content to your stories, right? If you see a good content and then you post it in your story, the algorithm cannot stop it, right? So focus on creating a relatable and valuable content. People will share it, people will talk about it, people will comment on it, and Facebook cannot stop. Meta cannot stop it, right? So just forget about the to know a thing or two. Just Google it and like how to post in Instagram and what is the best time or what type of content. But that is just the basic knowledge that you have to know, and you don't need to worry about algorithm. If you created enough content, you know what the algorithm prefers. So the main focus, the first focus is consistently. So yeah, I know that is not the answer that you wanted to ask, but trust me, I don't care about the algorithm. I just keep creating.
Okay, thank you, sir. So the point is keep creating, just keep creating, and after that the algorithm will know. Okay. Okay, I think we have one more question because we already spent almost 15 minutes on this Q&A session.
Okay.
The question
Can
from
I pick one? Can I pick the I think I want to answer the question from Garcia Gabriel.
Oh, okay. You can choose the question that you want to answer.
I think I want to answer the question from Gracia Gabriel.
Okay, from Gracia Gabriela, how did you manage to gain many friends from social media itself? And do they play a huge role in your work life?
Okay, so before social media, before nobody knows me, right? Nobody wants to listen to my thought. Nobody wants to listen to me. Nobody give a damn about me and what I say. But with social media, I actually created not just friend but meaningful connection. Those name that I mentioned before, and then also some names that I want to learn from them, like Felixandro, for example, or Andra Lodita, Yusril, the actor. Actually, I created a lot of connection through social media. So it's the same game. Like I said, if you have a good manner, you have a good things to talk. People will introduce you to their friend, and their friend will introduce you to another friend, and that's how I built my network and connection in social media. But this is the framework that I want to share to you guys. My teacher used to say to me that knowledge is everything, right? You need to get your educational very well. You need to get a degree because knowledge is everything, right? But as time goes by, I learned that not what you know is the most important thing. Who you know is the most important thing, right? You can know everything, but if you know no one will help you, right? So that is something that changed my perspective. Who you know is important. But then as time goes by, as I got older and got more experience, I understand that not who you know is the most important thing. Because I have a friend, he's a journalist. He interviewed some of the most important person in this country, the governor, the president itself. But when I ask him, do they know you? The answer is no, right? He knows them, but they did not know him. So the most important thing for me is who knows you. So who knows you is the most important thing that you need to pursue. The question is, why should people know you? Right? Why should people know you? And the answer to that is value that you create. That value could be anything. It could be your content, it could be your work, it could be your career, it could be your companies, it could be your jokes, it could be everything. But the most important thing to think about is, how do I create value? Only when you create value, people want to know about you. And only then you can build network like you did before, right? Because let me tell you something you don't know. For the most successful people in this world, for them, they meet a lot of people every day, right? And because of that, they can smell bullshit from far away. Sorry for my language, but they can smell if people only want to take advantage of them. If people only want to, yeah, they can smell it right away. The first moment you introduce yourself, they can smell it. So if you don't have enough value, if you don't have something for them, why do they need to care about? So for my friends here, the younger generation, focus on creating value that that will make people want to know you, and that is so powerful in this social media era. Okay.
Okay, what a great insight, what a great answer from you, sir. So the most important thing is who knows you and how can you develop your value. Okay, thank you for the material because our time is up right now. So we have the MADS from the media, attention, distribution, social. The media, we can start from the content which involve value, including entertainment or can be educative, informative. Next is attention, where we have old media and new media. Then the distribution channel, and the last is social, which we can utilize the power of social media. And I like the sentence that content creator is not only from social media, and also it's not about the job, but it's about how good you at the job. That is the thing that will bring you the money. Okay, thank you, sir, for the lesson and chat. Now is the documentation session. So I hope all the
Okay.
participants can open your cam.
Okay. So thank you for the opportunity. This is one of my few English session. I hope my English is not as bad, so you guys can learn what I want to say. But I really enjoyed today. If you want to connect with me, just DM me on my Instagram at Giorando, or at my company's Instagram at daristemu.co, and maybe we can talk more later. We can learn more later. So thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome, sir. So now is documentation session. All participants can open your cam and we will take a picture of the Zoom meeting with the Mr. Giorando. Okay, are you guys ready? Give your best expression.
I'm not ready.
Okay.
Wait. Okay, I'm ready.
What the test is on? Okay, 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, once again, thank you, Mr. Giorando. Me as the representative of all the committee, want to say thank you and hope we can meet each other in the upcoming event. And also, if you have another agenda today, you can leave the Zoom meeting. Have a great day, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Okay, what a great speakers. I know you guys have received a lot of insight and lesson, right? Because I received it like there's a new thing that we can learn together in these seminars. But you know what? We are not done yet. We still have our next speaker, which is a great speaker too. So let me read the curriculum vitae of our next speakers, Miss Christianita Fildianti. Miss Christianita Fildianti, Strategic and Creative International Digital Marketer. Experience, Marketing Analytics Instructor in Review, Senior Marketing Manager in Head Alfred Kuala Lumpur, Digital Campaign Manager in iPrice Group, Senior Digital Marketing Executive in iPrice Group, Social Media Executive in iPrice Group Kuala Lumpur, Junior Digital Marketing Account Executive in YDMG Media, Sales Assistant in Brand Collective Limited. Skills and expertise, strategic campaign planning, people and project management, marketing monetization, data processing and analysis for decision making, Facebook ads, Google ads, and email marketing, public speaking and business development. Wow, what a great record. I cannot wait anymore. And I think you guys too. So without any further ado, please welcome Miss Christianita Fildianti.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Hello, Miss Christianita.
Hi.
Okay, how are you, Miss?
I'm great. How are you?
Feeling great. Okay, I would like to ask, how can we call you? Is it Miss Christianita or Miss Christine or?
Just Chris. Chris will be fine.
Miss Chris.
Yeah.
Okay, Miss Chris. Are you at Indonesia or at?
No, I'm at Kuala Lumpur right now in Malaysia.
Okay. How the things go right there?
It's I know. Finally, we open up. It's been locked down since last year, so it's been intense lockdown for 2 years now. Finally, we can go out. So quite exciting. Looking forward for them to open the border so we could actually, go out somewhere and go back to Indonesia or something, right? So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Okay, I can see that you are so excited today.
I know.
Okay, without any further ado, and I think the participant cannot wait anymore for your insight, I will give the time for you. Miss Chris, the time is yours.
Awesome. Oh. Cool. I'm waiting to see my slides on the screen. I'm ready to present anytime.
Okay, wait a second. Okay.
Awesome. So let me open a chat box too. Welcome everyone. So it's been shared. I'll be sharing to all of you today the topic of increased sales by social media retargeting. So pretty much just disclaimer, this topic is, I package it in a way it's more advanced Facebook ads. So the assumption is all of, at least some of us or most of us have already used Facebook ads before. So it's just how to utilize retargeting. It's a little bit more technical, but don't worry so much. There's step to step that I will walk through you at the end. I think I'll just like introduce myself first again. Officially, can I get the next slide, please? Awesome. So here's my I'm Christianina Fildianti. You can call me Chris. So it's been happy to be here. So thank you so much for all of us. I saw 450 plus of us here, and basically I'm a digital campaign manager and also digital marketing instructor in both Malaysia and Indonesia. So it's in terms of my I've been teaching Facebook ads since 2019 as a trainer here in Malaysia. And I'm happy to be here to share some of my knowledge with all of you. Pretty much I've been specializing in paid marketing, so Google Ads, Facebook Ads, and also in product marketing, so coming up with the technology more on the IT side of marketing, and also the commercial strategy. So for those of you who like to connect with me, please feel free to have a look at this link to my LinkedIn, or if you just scan the QR code, we could catch up over there. Awesome. Could I please have a next slide, please? Awesome. So today's topics, so we'll be looking at 3 main sections. So I break it down so it's easier for all of us to actually, absorb the knowledge, and hopefully then easier for you to take notes too. So the first topic that we will go through is actually state of Indonesia social media ads. So we've already heard from the previous speaker about how to build your presence in social media organically. But this time it's more into what is it like in Indonesia? Like, Chris, why would even have to start using Facebook ads in social media, right? In media ads, right? How is it look like right now? Am I behind, or how is it, right? So that will be discussed throughout the first chapter. And then the second one will be the introduction to retargeting. So what's retargeting? What's this buzzword? We've heard it, right? It's advanced Facebook ads. So what it is about. And then the third chapter, it will be mostly on Facebook ads retargeting, how you can step-by-step technical implementation out of it. Okay, awesome. So let's get to the first chapter. Can I have the next slide, please? And then we can go straight to 2 slides forward. So the first chapter, okay, is the state of social media ads in Indonesia. Just get to the numbers right now. So we'll get to the next slide, please. Awesome. So before we get into it, right, we actually want to know what it's like to be in Indonesians, right? How is it in Indonesia in this kind of sector? So in terms of e-commerce landscape, so in my background, I do mostly in iPrice, it's just a lot of it is e-commerce. So these are the e-commerce landscape, and hopefully some of you started your own business already in Shopee or Lazada or those marketplaces, right? And if you look at it, or if you start your own business website, right, e-commerce site. So what's very good about it? What it is for us to know, right? So in the world, right, we are actually in Indonesia. It's the 11th largest e-commerce market in the world, right? Imagine out of so many countries, but Indonesia falls to the 11th biggest, right? To be honest, in my experience, handling 7 countries, Southeast Asia and Hong Kong, Indonesia has always been our biggest market, right? So if you can imagine, for all of us here if you have not started your business yet, and I'm sure some of us have already started, it's a really big competition out there, right? We have to be stand out. And then 61% of e-commerce growth last year was all mainly driven by Indonesia market. Can you imagine, like, all the growth that we saw, right? All the growth in e-commerce, 61% in the world, it came from Indonesia. So by now, I'm assuming all of us have already online shop at least, right? That we're selling stuff right now. So this is how big, what kind of demographic that we are looking at, and we have to stand up because of this, right? Therefore, there's a lot of things that we are looking at, such as one of the strategy is in the social media, right? So if you can go to the next slide, please. So a lot of people use a strategy to be out there, to push from social media ads or Facebook ads in these things. How much? I just want to share with you guys. It's 12 trillion rupiah, right? Or it's like $899 million have spent till today right, on social media ads by 2021 Indonesia. Can you imagine how much money have people put into to use this channel, right? That's just how powerful it is, right? It's 12 trillion. Can you guys imagine, right? And go to the next slide, please. Awesome. So now we are looking into just Facebook ads. So today I'll be focusing a lot on Facebook ads. In my training, in my teaching or my curriculum as well. So mostly I teach more into Facebook ads. So once you get into Facebook ads paid space, it's basically you could run any ads on any other platforms, right? So if you look at the stats here, just for Facebook ads, we actually 95% of Indonesian ads spent on Facebook ads. That's why I would primarily teach us on using Facebook ads, or now Metaverse ads, right? That they just changed the name, right? So it's been 95% people actually spend on this platform. So why don't you, right? Let's start right now, right? And in terms of look at the pool of people that we could reach out to from this platform, actually in Indonesia, we have 170 million active users. Like, what? 170 million, that's so much of us, right? So if you go to the next slide, if you look into it, right, out of that 170 million, 140 million are Facebook users in Indonesia. It's shocking, right? I was like, oh no, what? Right? And like, for example, like myself, I'm mostly in Instagram, but we need to have Facebook to have the page, to have the business accounts, stuff like that, right? So and maybe some of us here also still active in Facebook. So can you imagine just how much the pool of people that you could actually target for your business, right? So and then the next slide, please. Awesome. So right now, the question is, right now we know, oh my God, with so many people that we could target into, and oh my God, we know what platform that people use the most and we should use as well, right? So right now, all the sales that you're looking for, right? All the increase of sales that you're looking for might be in social media ads, right? So the question is right now, the big question that I like to ask is, have you actually include Facebook ads in your marketing strategy? Right, for all you business owners or all the students. So when you guys have, all the stuff that you guys created, so the very first thing that you have to ask yourself, if you have a product, have you actually run ads, right? So that's where you like to look at how to increase your sales, right? Okay, so next slide, please. Awesome. So that's pretty much what it is in Indonesia, right? What it is in our social media ads. The metrics, so forth and so on. So the second chapter, we'd like to look at introduction to retargeting. Chris, what are you talking about? You're talking about sales and now talking about retargeting. Chris, what is that, right? So for those of you who are new into digital marketing, so these are the explanations. So to the next slide, please. Awesome. So this is the official explanations from Facebook. So it's basically a form of online advertising for us to get back to the user who have already visited our website or app or your social media or your, or your store in general, right? Or if you have leads, something like that. So we want to get back to the same people. So that's basically the whole idea of retargeting, right? And, and in one good thing about here is that they could actually recognize people and track people who are your customer and create similar customers, right? So that's how you want to spend your money, only for those who matters, only for those who will actually give you money, right? So we have to be smart. As been shared, people actually spend $12 trillion, 12 trillion rupiahs, and and I understand I myself a small business owner. I have my own business as well, so I start small. Right, so when I want to spend every money that I earned, I want to make sure every money that I spent actually return to a great sales, right? So that's about it. And how it's run is like cookies. So cookies is something like a tracker. It's a tracker in a website that will tabulate the data, store it in the warehouse, and then we could use it in our ads technical implementations. Awesome. So go to the next slide, please. So now we know what's retargeting, right? So why would we even do retargeting? Chris, can I just do my regular page like Instagram boost? Can I just do my regular like boosting that particular post that they keep coming on? 95% of your viewers, like this post, you should boost it up, right? Why should I do retargeting instead of that? Right? If you guys have been using social media for quite some time, the things that you saw, right? My recommendation, don't push on your post, okay? So why focus on retargeting? Because there's a statistic saying that 96% of your website visitors are not ready to buy. They were there just to browse or even figure out what kind of products that they're actually buying, right? So I'm a great example. I love to shop online, but I will just add to cart and don't purchase, or just to see around, just to make myself feel like I'm shopping, but actually I'm not, right? So for those of you who've done the same, right? That's how our visitors are. There's things that we expect, right? And why retargeting, right? 71% of consumers, right, or just now also shared by the previous speaker, they like more tailored interests or shopping habits ads, right? Things that they could relate to, things that they care about, right? So using retargeting definitely will show what they care about, because we're basically showing the content from our website or from our e-commerce of stuff that they just saw to them back, so that they purchase, right? Because at the end of the day, we want them to make sales, right? So so using retargeting, right, with these, you could customize your ads to what they saw, and also you could convert your 96% of your visitors to actually purchase, right, instead of only 4%. So right now, business owners, if you're looking at whatever sales you have in your website, it's only 4% of people who came to your website that purchase, right? So why, and another thing that I like to add is it's cheaper than broad interest ads. So for those of us who have already used Facebook ads before, right? So you use your interest, right, with the who like something, like for example, I have a business in selling plants. So who like plants, who is checking out what kind of hashtag, stuff like that, right? So I could do that, but I don't have to do that in retargeting. And when I do that, it's actually much cheaper. Right? Because whoever I retarget are already my customer, right? Compared to all these broad interest ads, we just figure out people. It's great for brand awareness, but it's not for sales, right? And then therefore, because it's cheaper, it's of course improve your conversions and also improve your ROI, return on investment. Every money that you spend, you have to get back sales out of it, right? So that's the metrics that we are looking at. So if we go to the next slide, please. Okay, for those of us who Chris, how does it look like for my users if I use retargeting, right? So here in a slide, you could see Buddy, right? So this Buddy is someone who is like a normal person. So one day he visits online stores, right? So he's browsing there, looking out here and there, looking at something. And then what happened was he did not purchase, right? He just left it there. He just, okay, good to know. For now, I'll just browsing, wish listed, add to cart. I'll purchase at 11:11 since 11:11 is coming soon, right? And what happened was he left. And then what happened is he actually get to his social media, right? In that social media, he see the ads, the product that he just saw. Oh my God, that's so relevant, right? So what happened is when they saw the ads, from what he just saw, right, in the website, a day, maybe the same day, or maybe a week later. So what they saw when he clicked on the ads, what we're expecting as a user's journey is he will be brought back to the website and actually make the purchase, right? Because of the the promotion that we are giving from the ads, things that he didn't know in the website, right? But specifically for him, we actually give him discount, right? So all of this strategy, all these tactics that to increase your sales, besides using these tools in retargeting, right? The next slide, please. Awesome, Chris. So you've been saying that we could brought people back. Does it mean I can only target people who came to my website? right? And in my website, there's so many other things that I actually saw them using, right? So for example, maybe they bounce off from your website, right? Maybe they interact, clicking add to cart, clicking, they like to wish list the products, but it doesn't have, it's out of stock. So they actually just wish list it, right? And then, they actually make a purchase. So these three segments are totally different behavior that we are looking at, right? And we like to target them differently, right? So you could actually segment your users depending on the activities, in which part of the activities that they have already completed, right? So from there, and then you can use, re-engage your Facebook as one of your strategy, and then grow them back to make a purchase back to your website, right? So that's the idea that we like to see. Okay, and then next slide, please. Okay, so here's study case of Tokopedia. So if you guys have access to this slide, actually put the link in that Tokopedia, you can click into that and check it out more into it. So basically, in this case, using Facebook retargeting. So what they do is they like to test a new approach to increase their ROI and sales, right? So they didn't use retargeting before, so they were just figuring out, should I start using retargeting, right? And so what they do is they actually, use retargeting with all these steps, small technical steps. So they upload the product catalog. So if you have your product catalogs, you could actually have it in CSV file, or there's an API integrations with your website to be connected and uploaded in the Facebook ads, right? So that's what they do, and they will do using the Facebook ads dynamic ads. So that's basically, of all the products that you have, you could show immediately on the ads. We don't have to customize. So small business owners, don't spend too much time in personalizing everything, right? When there's technology like retargeting that can automate all the stuff for you, right? And then what they do is they will retarget users who visited their website but did not purchase, right? Because what they're thinking is to target 96% people that did not purchase, right? And then is it stopping there? No, they actually create a lookalike audience to the website visitors. What does this mean? This means is they will create this, Facebook could actually target our audience who have never come, it's not our users, right, or our customer, but very similar to whatever traits that have by our customer that will highly likely to purchase as well from us. So that's just how cool Facebook could help us, right? And in terms of the optimizations, it's a 3 months campaign period. They use campaign budget optimization. So if you don't know what it is, I'll suggest you to learn, to read about in the Facebook, or you want to go to one of the courses that can be done as well. So throughout this retargeting campaign that they drive, right, what they saw is increase in 20% conversion rate. That is awesome. Right, in my experience for 5 years optimizing sales, conversion rate 20% is a really huge jump, right? And they say also incremental 3.6 times of the ROAS. So ROAS, for those of us who don't know, is basically return on ad spend, right? So every $1 that you spend, for example, at Tokopedia here, every $1 that they spend, $1, they will that spend on ads, they will get $3.6 sales back. How amazing is that? You can actually basically triple or fourple, or like even multiply your spend. It's the sales. Basically, you don't spend anything on your ads, right? So that's something that we are looking at as well. And then lower cost per order or lower cost per sales, for example, if this is something that we are looking at, right? So it's a really good study case, and why I would actually recommend all of us, if those of you who have already used Facebook ads, to actually utilize the retargeting. Okay, then go to the next slide, please. Awesome, just like that. I hope everyone been convinced why we have to do retargeting. It's a really amazing tools, right? And it's free. You just have to spend the ads on, this retargeting is free. It's free of charge in the technical. All you have to do is spend the money on run the ads, right? So the next one will be on Facebook ads retargeting. Finally, step by step, if for all of us who like to start doing it. So it sounds amazing, and you can't wait to actually start it, right? So the next slide, please. Okay, So there's 5 steps to set up your retargeting ads, assuming that you have already used Facebook ads before, you've already created your Facebook ads account, you have already have your business manager. If you have not, you have to make sure all these 3 have been done before you could actually do this, right? So the first step, for those of you who are very new, make sure you set up a Facebook pixel. So Facebook pixel is something like a recorder on your website or your app or your, in Facebook in general, to record who came to your websites, which traffic that came to your website. And you could even track also their behavior, right? And the next slide is in the setup pixel events. It's basically behavior, like add to cart, like purchase, filling forms. Those are behavior that we are looking at, and they call it setup pixel events. Right, that's something that you could optimize when using your ads to make sure user get into your website and did that particular behavior. You could actually do that as well. And then step 3 is to set up your custom and lookalike audience. Custom and lookalike audience is basically the one that I shared before. Is you want to retarget out of the users that they've been gathering from Facebook pixel, right? You could actually create a segment or custom audience and lookalike to create people who are similar to this segment, right? And then the next one, it will be on the upload products catalogs to the Facebook. So you could do it manually, CSV, or even upload with the image one by one, or you could actually, integrate it automatically using the API, right? And then step 5 is on the create the conversion retargeting ads. So for all of us who have already know Facebook ads, there's 10 optimization objectives that we could use. 10 is the conversion part. Okay. Okay, it sounds like someone having fun over there. All right, so can I have the next slide, please? Can I have next slide, please? Okay, can I have my next slide? I'd like to introduce step 1 now. I'm sorry, could I have my next slide? Or is that crashing over there?
Wait a second, Miss. Our connection is unstable right now.
Okay, that's fine. So, for although you can't see in the screen, right? So the first step is to set up Facebook pixel. So for all of us, if you have already used Facebook ads, so basically you go into your ads manager account. So in the technical part of it, right? So go to the ads manager, log into your Facebook, and then look at your ads manager, and then you could actually go to your business manager, and that's where you have your data analytics. And then data source or integrations, and you click your pixel sections, and then you could create a pixel over there. So that's just step by step. Where could you find it, right? And then basically that's it, and then connect it with your website. So Facebook pixel is pretty much as easy as that. You create your numbers of the ID that you could connect with your website, and then just do integration. It's very straightforward. Chris, as a marketer, do we have to do it manually ourselves? Depends on the company, right? For small business owners, we have to do it, right? It's very easy. There's so many integration tools that you could use to actually, connect this together. Or you could actually have a tech team already, right? So like in iPress, I introduced these things, retargeting to them as well. Actually, I have my tech team that actually run it for me, right? To integrate in all this technical stuff, implementation stuff, okay? So that's pretty much it. It's a JavaScript code. You can use it in your HTML if you use WordPress or Wikipedia whatsoever. WordPress, not Wikipedia. It's always come up because it's the W thing. Okay, so now the next, sorry, can we go back to the previous slide, please, before the default pixel? I want to show how Facebook pixel works. Okay, awesome. So this is how Facebook pixel works, right? So it's the same thing as Woody, like stranger goes to your website, right? So what happens if you install your Facebook pixel, they will start recording the moment they enter your website, right? So from what they're doing, which pages they visit, what kind of activities they're doing, clicking here, clicking there, that's something that will be stored in the database, right? And what happens is you could actually add that as a segment in your custom audience. So you like to see people who did not purchase, they came to specific of this brand page, for example, you could actually store to that specific, right, to create your more personalized ads as well, right? And add that to your custom audience, which I will explain on the third steps. And then the user journey from the users now leave your website and they go to the Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, right? So all these 4 platforms are the platforms that this pixel could actually use to, right? So what happened is you use that custom audience and then create a lookalike and do your retargeting ad setup, and then they will see your ads back or the same exact product back in the Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp or Messenger. This is actually how Facebook Pixel works. It's very easy. They're basically storing all the information. So in the same time, it's quite scary. It means every time you get to the websites, we are being tracked, not only by Google, but Facebook as well, if they're using this, right? Awesome. Can we go to the next slide, please? Before this, there's another slide. Awesome. So now we've already set up our Facebook pixel, right? So what I would like us to do is to track your customers' activities through default pixel events. So there's 2 types of events. Events is pretty much activities in the website. We define it by events in the techie world, right? And you know, what are they, right? So Chris, if I did not know, what should I do, right? So don't worry, there's a default pixel events where they have already predefined this in the Facebook pixel, and you can just connect it to your website, right? So from add payment info, add to cart, to initial checkout over here, right? And then to the next slide, we have 3 slides over all these defaults. So the next slide, please. Okay, see, there's 3. So even to creating leads, to donate, to fund location, initiate checkout, all of these things, you can pre-define it, and it's been redefined by the Facebook, right? So those things you can already use and connect immediately. If you use your e-commerce API, you connect it with your Facebook and your website, all this has already set up. You don't even have to do anything, right? So you have to do all this implementation and tech in the background only. So the next slide, please. Can I go to the custom pixel events? Is it crashing? Okay, so another way, so while waiting for the slides to move, right? So another way to do it is to, Chris, what if my website is different from any other e-commerce that they have already pre-set up, right? So especially like in my experience in iPrice, so we are actually not a website, not an e-commerce site. We are an e-commerce aggregator. What does that mean? We actually tabulate all of the marketplaces like Lazada, Tokopedia, Shopee, Bukalapak, and so forth and so on. We have 1,000 partners. And then, extract the products and comparing between them in terms of price, right? So that's something that we do. Can I go to the next slide, please? There's something that we do, and in terms of the activities that we want them to do is very different from this pre-redefined setup, right? So what we do is we use custom audience, where you can actually customize what kind of action it is, like what specific button is that, because it's different, right? So can I go to the next slide, please? I still see the same slide. Can I go to the next slide?
Oh, wait a second, Miss. I think we have a trouble connection right here.
Okay. Awesome. So you can set it up as well. So we go to the 3rd chapter, which is to create custom and lookalike audience. It's been shared just now. It's basically once you tabulated your activities, right, you pre-define it in your website, and you have your Facebook tracking, then you can create this custom and lookalike audience, basically getting all your customers' databases and match to the predefined audience that you like, right? What activities that you like them to do, and retarget them, right? And create a lookalike. The next slide, please. Okay, so this is how you can create audience. Go to your audience. It's pretty much very straightforward in your Facebook ads. And then you look at this is a create customer audience. So you can actually choose from your customer file if you have already emails of your users, website traffic, app activities, offline activities, or even engagement in your social media. And you can predefine that and create it in your customer audience. Right? So that's pretty much creating a segment that you like to target basically, right? And then next slide, please. Okay, so now you've created all these segments. Chris, I want to find people who are similar because I'm a small business owner. People who visited my website is actually really low. I want to have more people to give me more money, right? So what you could do is use lookalike audiences to reach out to people who are very similar to the segment you just created, right? So you could just, once you've done your custom audience, this is most likely what pop up. They will ask you create lookalike audience for your next step. And then create it there, right? So the source is your custom audience, you create it, and then put your locations. In this case, all of us is in Indonesia, right? And then the audience sizes. So the bigger the percentage, the bigger the size, but less similar they are to your users, right? Go to the next slide, please. Awesome. Now you've already created your pixel, creating what kind of activities that you like to track. You have already your audience segments that you like to target. So now what's next, right? So upload your product catalog on Facebook. So you could actually go to this commerce manager, right? And then look at your assets. Going to the assets, you can add catalog here as been shared, right? So next slide, please. So what will pop up once you click that, they will actually, this is step by step how it will look like. They will ask you, do you have e-commerce products, right? Your e-commerce platform next, and if there's others one that are available. And then once that, they will have the settings, if you want to do